talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Before I continue with today's episode, I just want to let you guys know that today's episode of Keek on the Mic is brought to you guys by BetUS, the leading sports book in the entire market. Just use my promo code KOTM to make bets on the NFL draft. You can go in there, use my promo code KOTM, and make bets on who you guys will think will be the number one overall pick in tomorrow night's draft. So go check out BetUS and use my promo code KOTM to start today. So here we go, Bears fans. The 2022 NFL draft is one day away, and the wait is finally over, and I am super, super pumped. And even though the Chicago Bears don't even pick tomorrow in the first round of the NFL draft, I am just super excited that the NFL draft is finally here. So today on Keek on the Mic, I will be going over my final Chicago Bears mock draft. I know that I sent out a poll earlier today trying to get you guys to guess who my first pick will be at the 39th overall selection in the second round for the Chicago Bears, which I will get to very shortly. We all know by now that the Bears' biggest needs are wide receiver, offensive line, and cornerback, and only have 6 draft picks to use in this year's NFL draft, starting at 39. And we all know this, Ryan Poles has a lot of work to do, so he may need to be creative in terms of adding more draft capital. You can trade back, you can possibly trade players away, and before I go any further, I'm not sure if you guys heard the news, but there have been teams, according to Ian Rappaport, calling the Chicago Bears, asking them about the availability of D.N. Robert Quinn. A report then came out this morning saying the Chicago Bears are currently not looking to trade Robert Quinn, but you never know. Things can change. If the right price comes available for Robert Quinn, I think the Chicago Bears should strongly consider it, and I think you guys will agree with me. If someone is willing to give us maybe a second-round pick, right, for Robert Quinn this year, I think the Chicago Bears will strongly consider trading Robert Quinn. Well, heck, maybe if they even give us a third and a sixth round this year, I think the Chicago Bears would consider trading Robert Quinn. So do you guys want the Chicago Bears to trade Robert Quinn? I know we need more draft capital, and that can definitely be one way to gain more capital for this year's draft. So also going into his first NFL draft, Ryan Poles did a pre-draft press conference, and he made it very clear that the possibility of trading back is definitely out there. He said if they're in the right situation and the trade is in a good spot where they can still grab a really good player at that position, that he would be willing to trade back. So expect the Chicago Bears to either trade back or maybe start trading some of their players in order to gain more draft capital. But as it stands now, the Bears only have 6 total draft picks in this year's NFL draft. So here we go, Bears fans. Like always, comment down below, follow along all my picks. Let me know how you guys like my picks, and let me know what you would do if you were in Ryan Poles' shoes. So here we go. Round 2, pick number 39. I am going to stay put. Nah, I'm not going to trade back. And I am going to throw you guys a curveball. I've been saying George Pickens or Christian Watson. But in this situation, a really good wide receiver has dropped down the boards, and he is still available at round 2, pick number 39, and that is wide receiver Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. Let me tell you guys something. If Dotson is still available at 39, which is always possible, this is a deep wide receiver draft, and it could be a situation where Dotson can still be there, I would definitely select this player. He is 5'11", 183 pounds. So yes, he is not that 6'3" guy that we are looking for, but Dotson, I think, definitely fits the bill of what Ryan Poles wants to add to his offense. He has good speed and great athleticism, who is fully operational on all 3 levels of the football field. This is a guy that runs ultra smooth routes, And the most incredible thing about him is that even at 5'11", his in-air athleticism and ball skills just look absolutely effortless. And this is a guy that has the ability not to only play in the slot, you can use him as on the outside as well. And I just feel like this would be a perfect fit, a perfect addition for the Chicago Bears offense that is in desperate need of wide receiver. One thing that I would like to see Jahan Dotson improve on is maybe becoming a little bit more physical. But other than that, the speed is there, the athleticism is there, and I feel like he would be a really, really good slot option for the Chicago Bears. And just adding a much-needed proven wide receiver to this Chicago Bears offense for Justin Fields. I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, we can add offensive tackle here. We can add cornerback here. There's going to be many different options, and I just think Ryan Poles is going to focus on taking the best player available, and hopefully the best player available is a player of need. But I think Jahan Dotson definitely fits the bill of what Ryan Poles is looking for. Before I get to my next second-round pick, I have a trade. The Bears receive round 2, pick 52, and we add another third-round pick and pick number 84, and we send the Pittsburgh Steelers our 48th selection in the second round. And then moving on to pick 52 in round 2, I have the Chicago Bears selecting cornerback Roger McCreary out of Auburn. He is 6 foot, 190 pounds. Obviously, cornerback is a major need for the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of you guys may put cornerback over offensive tackle as a need for our Chicago Bears. McCreary is an aggressive corner with the play strength to bully the release and alter route timing for the receivers that he goes up against. This guy is a tough and strong tackler. And this is a guy that's always around the football, swarming around the football, trying to make plays every single snap. And that definitely fits the bill of what Eberflus is looking for in a very good cornerback that fits his system. So I think this would be a perfect fit for the Chicago Bears defense that is in desperate need of cornerbacks. I know what you guys are thinking. Keek, how about an offensive lineman? I know we need to protect Justin Fields, but I think, just like I mentioned, Ryan Poles is going to be looking for best player available. And at pick number 52, I just felt that cornerback Roger McCreary was the best player available at this point of the draft. So before I move on to my third round selection, I have another trade. The Bears receive round 3, pick 76, and we add a 4th rounder in pick 110, and the Ravens receive our 71st selection in round 3. And then with pick number 76 in round 3, I have the Chicago Bears beefing up their offensive line and tackle Darian Kinnard out of Kentucky. Stands at 6'5", 344 pounds, and this is a guy that I have talked about a lot over the past podcast leading up to the NFL draft. He's a nasty, aggressive blocker that is very athletic, that can get to the second level. He can probably play a little bit of guard if you need him to, but obviously we're going to try to pick him to be our left tackle. But these are the type of guys that Ryan Poles is looking for. Guys that are pricks, guys that are trying to put people in the dirt and rub their face in it. So Darian Kinnard would be a perfect fit for what Ryan Poles is looking for. Moving on to the other round 3 selection that we added by trading back, pick number 84. I have the Chicago Bears selecting guard Cole Strange out of Chattanooga, 6'4", 370 pounds. Once again, the Bears have a major need at the right guard position, and this guy would definitely fill that void. Once again, he's an athletic guy that can get to the second level. He's nasty. He has that little swagger. He talks a lot of mess on the football field, and he just brings it every single snap. And once again, Ryan Poles is looking for those pricks, maulers, and Cole Strange definitely fits that bill. And for the most part, in my recent mock drafts, I have had tackle Darian Kinnard and guard Cole Strange in my mock draft. I really like these two guys, especially when you think about what Ryan Poles is looking for. These guys fit that bill, and I definitely think these guys can come in right away and contribute to hopefully a revamped Chicago Bears offensive line. And I know you guys are thinking, well, Keek, why didn't you draft an offensive lineman in the second round? And that's definitely a possibility. But being able to trade back, gain more draft capital, and still snag 2 really good offensive linemen that can be part of the rebuild of this Chicago Bears offensive line, and getting them in the third round, I feel like is just a really good value for the Chicago Bears here. Now moving on to round 4. We traded back, and now we're back into the 4th round, which to me is definitely huge. Pick number 110. I have the Chicago Bears selecting wide receiver Danny Gray out of SMU. He is 6'2", 198 pounds. And Gray is an explosive receiver with 3-level ability. This is just an athletic guy who has extreme catch and run talent. And sometimes that's what you need, a reliable target that gets yards after the catch. And this guy also offers kick and punt return ability. He did play at the FBS level, but with his athleticism and speed, I feel like his talents should translate to the NFL well. And this is a guy that's kind of been on the Bears' radar. I think they've already had a couple of meetings with Danny Gray, and I feel like this is just a really good value pick in round 4 just to add more talent to the wide receiver room. Once again, I did mention that he does offer special team abilities as well, but I definitely think we can find a really good fit for him in the Chicago Bears offense. Moving on to round 5, where we have 2 selections in round 5. So in round 5, pick 148, I have the Bears selecting guard Lycidas Smith out of Virginia Tech. He stands at 6'3", 315 pounds. And once again, Smith is an athletic 3-year starter at guard that can move out in space and get into the second level. He is very good in pass protection and has good and aggressive block temperament. Once again, when you're looking at the Shanahan-style offense, you need guys that are mobile, guys that can get the second level. Smith, Strange, and Kennard are all linemen that can get to that second level. Guys are athletic, and they all have that really, really good block temperament. They're nasty blockers, so it definitely fits what Ryan Poles is looking for in his new revamped offensive line. Smith won't come in and start right away. He's going to need to be developed, but this is a guy that eventually, with the right development, can be a long-term starter option at the guard position, which is a huge need for the Chicago Bears, especially looking at the void that we have at the right guard position. Moving on to round 5, pick 150, I have the Chicago Bears selecting defensive lineman Matthew Butler out of Tennessee. He is 6'3", 299 pounds. This is an athletic defensive lineman that can become a starting 3 technique in the NFL. He has a really good motor, athletic ability to create pass rushing opportunities, good lateral quickness to capture the edge and disrupt zone blocks. Obviously, I feel like the Bears can add one more 3 technique defensive lineman, and what better way to do this but adding 3 technique defensive linemen in the NFL draft, a guy that you can develop and turn into a long-term starter and just fill that void that we have for the 3 technique defensive linemen. Yes, we did add Justin Jones. I expect him to be the starter 3 technique guy for the Chicago Bears defense, but you can still add another young defensive lineman, 3 technique guy in the draft, and Matthew Butler definitely fits that bill. And my final selection, round 6, pick 186, I have the Chicago Bears selecting tackle Zachary Thomas out of San Diego State. He stands at 6'5", 300 pounds. Once again, this guy is an athletic blocker that can stay connected with his man, plays through the whistle, and comes off the snap with excellent pad level. He can also play guard and add emergency tackle flexibility. Once again, Ryan Poles is looking for athletic linemen that can get to the second level. Zachary Thomas adds that. And once again, I feel like at the end of the day, you're just trying to look for best player available in these later rounds. And I feel like he can just add that much needed depth that you always need at every single position, but especially at the offensive line position. It's really good to have deep depth when you're looking at the offensive line. So that is my final Chicago Bears mock draft. Let's go over it one more time. Pick number 39, wide receiver Jahan Dotson. Pick number 52, cornerback Roger McCreary. Round 3, pick 76, tackle Darian Kennard. Round 3, 84, Cole Strange. Round 4, 110, wide receiver Danny Gray. Round 5, pick 148, guard Lycidas Smith. Round 5, 150, defensive lineman Matthew Butler. And round 6, pick 186, tackle Zachary Thomas. I feel like I did a really good job of adding not only weapons for Justin Fields, but also beefing up the trenches, beefing up that offensive line with nasty maulers in order to also protect Justin Fields. We're able to snag a really good corner. Roger McCreary, a guy that can hopefully come in and develop into that cornerback number 2 alongside Jalen Johnson. And then we also were able to beef up the defensive line as well with Matthew Butler. So overall, I'm very content with my final Chicago Bears mock draft. And like I always like to say to people, these are just mock drafts. Will this happen? Probably not. But I really like over these mock drafts that I've done how they've kind of progressed, and I'm really happy with my final Chicago Bears mock draft. So like always, guys, how do you guys like my final mock draft? Would you change any of these picks? Would you change any of these trades that I made? So how do you guys feel about my overall final Chicago Bears mock draft? Let me know down below in the comment section. So I hope you guys are ready for the NFL draft. Obviously, the Chicago Bears do not pick until pick number 39 on day 2, Friday, April 29th. And just to remind you guys one more time, I will be going live on YouTube Friday, April 29th for day 2 in NFL draft to react to all of the Chicago Bears selections starting at pick number 39. So make sure you guys tune in to that. I will be going live starting, I think, about at 4 p.m. So make sure you tune in to my YouTube live to catch my reaction to all of the Chicago Bears picks. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't